Welcome to the BumbleKast. I'm your host, Ian Flynn, the Bumble King, and joining me as always is my Bumble co-host, Kyle, JCRB Krause.
It's Turkey Week. Gobble gobble. If you're in the States, at least. If you're in the U.S.,
if you are so inclined,
Turkey Week. But in my view, it's always Turkey Week. I could eat turkey any time of year. It don't matter. I don't need an excuse. My excuse is I'm hungry. How you doing, Ian?
I'm doing all right. How about you, sir?
Not too bad. I'm hungry for turkey.
Guess what? You're gonna get one this week, I'm assuming.
Maybe. I don't know, actually. I think we're doing something a little different this year. But anyway, it doesn't really matter. What does matter is these delicious Q&A we have on our plates that we must share with the fine folks. Share the answers to. I don't know where I'm going with this. This started as an analogy, and then it became the actual thing we're doing.
This is our Monday priority Q&A with questions coming from our patrons over at patreon.com/BumbleKast, over at Ko-fi.com/BumbleKast, or our YouTube members. So let's get right to it.
All right, without wasting any time, let's get started with Scruffy Met. You mentioned in a previous BumbleKast that you consider the anniversary special canon to the main IDW series, and that this is the past of the characters we see in the main series. What I'm wondering is if we can conclude from the special that a lot of the classic games are canon of the comic as well. Spoilers for anyone who hasn't read it yet. For instance, Heavy King being present leads me to the assumption Sonic Mania is canon in this story. Can we use the same logic to assume that Sonic CD, Sega Sonic the Hedgehog, Triple Trouble, Sonic R, and Sonic the Fighters are all canon of the IDW comics too? Possibly Sonic Drift, since Sonic's learning to drive?
I don't remember what I said back in the day, but just to be clear, I'm considering it canon to IDW's classic line of stories.
Oh.
Because where and when the timeline splits from classic to modern, and if that's what they're doing, that will change a lot of things. Like the whole idea that the past Sonic is still the past, the classic Sonic is still the past Sonic, but also because of time shenanigans is an alternate Sonic, is kind of the working fan theory that most people have signed up for, but I don't know if that's solid canon yet for like all things Sonic. So in my mind, let me put it this way. If we did another classic story, I would consider that anniversary special and those stories to be part of the comics continuity. As for what classic games count, that's also entirely up to Sega. Like, we keep coming back to it, and it still baffles me that Sonic R apparently counts. But and Mania, obviously, because Mania is like the biggest deal Sonic has had in a while.
Yes.
But what other games count, where they fall in the timeline? Is there a timeline? I don't know. So I'm not too worried about it. And with classic especially, that I feel like is so much more fun and whimsical in its presentation. I wouldn't be as bent out of shape over continuity with that one. I'm a little more forgiving of a kind of, these are episodic adventures that happened for classic, just because I feel like it fits its tone better. Modern, I think, needs to have a more scrutinizing eye applied to it, but classic, I'll cut it a little more slack.
Sure. I get it. Here's a question from Speedweed. I know you said you probably will never ever play fan games, Ian, but real talk. When am I going to see you get on a Mega Man 8-bit deathmatch multiplayer and frag some Robot Masters as one of your favorite Robot Masters? Or slice Proto Man in half as King? Or literally yeet someone as Raw Thor? Or 1v1 Kyle in a robot boomer shooter to the death?
I mean, I think that one's a little safer, what with it being, just the robots and stuff.
Also, you're not working on
BumbleKast gaming was still a thing. We could really focus on it.
Yes, indeed. Maybe someday we'll do like a special stream of that game. Sure. Why not? Or something
Put
else.
it on the list of things I want to do.
Yes.
Page 478.
The list of ever-growing things for both of us that keep on coming up and like, oh, that's a good idea. I should do that. And then they promptly wither on the vine. Rip BumbleKast. Among other things. It's not your fault. It's nobody's fault. It's just a thing, man. It's just a thing. Anyway, on to our next question here from Audrey Shrugged. In regards to Archie Tales, you said you're okay with the character having crushes in other media so long as he enters no official committal relationship. Wasn't it therefore an option to do just that in Archie, to introduce a character with a crush on Archie Tales and show there exists someone on Planet Mobius who'd pick Tails over Sonic and Scourge? Peanuts isn't creepy, and Tails deserved better than the comic telling him he's inadequate compared to a spoiled, ungrateful narcissist like Archie Sonic. Harsh, man. Harsh.
Can we stop being fixated on the 8-year-old's love life?
I think a lot of, because I think I know where this kind of comes from. Because people were young kids. A lot of people were young kids when they first read Sonic. And I feel like they kind of related to Tails. So they're, you know, I don't know.
And you want good things for Tails. Sure. And he definitely got put through the ringer.
Yeah.
For debatably solid reasons or not. But, like, my thing is, puppy love and, having, innocent crushes one way or the other. It's perfectly fine and innocent with children. And yes, I know ages don't mean much in this series. Nobody really acts their age outside of like Cream and Charmy.
Tails does not really come off as 8 ever.
Not
no. Definitely not recently.
But still, in that kind of physicality and in some mentalities, he still skews childlike. And that's why I feel like this fixation on pairing him somebody up with his one true love is like, let the kid grow up.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there are other things in life than having someone be goo-goo for you, And it's not like it's in a competition with Sonic. Yeah, Sonic gets a lot of attention, and some of it was handled better than others. But that does not equate to Tails being left out in the rain. And he got plenty of respect within the freedom fighters and, treated as family and as, later a solid combatant. They trusted him to carry his own weight on the team. So it's not like he was lacking for any amount of positive attention. It's just, I don't think you really need to have a devoted love life at 8. So no, that wasn't my priority with the Archie book. If anything, it was bailing Tails out of where he had been put up to that point.
That's true.
And with the matter finally closed, why reopen that can of worms? Let's do something else with him for a while.
Yes. He's just got, I don't know, he's just got a lot of weird things going on. He's too married to science to be in a relationship. We'll just go with that.
I mean, if anything, if there was one that was handled better, it was him and Cosmo.
Yeah.
Because that felt like that kind of bumbling, innocent first taste of affection type of thing. And him and Zoe and Boom was so simple and played for laughs. That's fine. But all the Archie stuff was just ew.
Yeah.
Sum it up, ew.
Weird is weird. Is weird.
And it always ends in drama. Always the freaking drama with Fiona and having to kill Cosmo and Zoe. Well, Zoe was fine, but Boom didn't have a ton of drama to begin with. You know what I mean?
Boom did not develop that relationship, really. It barely showed it at all. So, oh, poor Tails. Can't catch a break, man. Cannot catch a break.
It did lead to one of my favorite gags out of the series, though, where they're on some quest and he's writing letters back to Zoe talking about the arduousness of their epic quest, and then the letters get lost, and he goes, "Oh no, I have to start over. Day 1."
I miss Boom so much. I miss Boom so much. Here's a question from Dove. Important question. Assuming there was a livable habitat upon the moon, assuming lycanthropy existed, what would happen if you put a person cursed with lycanthropy on the moon? Would they always or never be a werewolf? Would they only be a werewolf when the Earth shadow was not cast upon the moon? Something entirely different?
Well, the transformation happens during a full moon on Earth, right?
Sure.
So it's not a partial, it's not, new moon. It has to be the full moon. So that is more a matter of exposure to light from the moon, which we know is reflected from the sun. Ergo, if they were on the surface of the moon, any light hitting that surface would be essentially a full moon. So yes, if they were living on the surface of the moon in broad daylight, they would be werewolves. Yes. However, if they were on the dark side or under Earth's shadow, therefore they are not receiving moonlight, and thus they would be human.
Well then, I guess that's the logical explanation for it all.
And now I want to write a story about werewolves on the moon. We're werewolves on the moon. We hunt things with harpoons.
Lunar werewolves. It sounds like something you'd see in like a movie, a black and white movie from like the 40s, 50s. Before
the Wolfman versus Frankenstein in space.
Well, maybe. I was just thinking like, before we knew what being on the moon and what space was actually like, where they just kind of assumed you could, live normally and everything on the moon. Yeah, it was a very silly time. It was a very silly time. Here's one from PC the Unicorn. Ian, since we didn't get to see her dynamic with him in Worlds Unite, how do you think Styx's dynamic with the Archie versions of her friends would differ from her interactions with her Boom counterparts, along with what her dynamic would be like with members of the Freedom Fighters, such as Sally, Rotor, Nicole, and the others?
I think we just play into her conspiracy that there are doubles of everyone in the world, and slowly the Illuminati is just replacing everyone with their carbon copy. And she gets kind of bent out of shape trying to figure out which version of Amy is the one she knows. Yes, their outfits are different, but is that because the one she knows was put into a different outfit? Is that one the real Amy? Or is that one the fake Amy and they got the clothing wrong? She can't tell they're both incredibly nice people and they're loving and caring. She loves them both and she wants to be friends with everybody. And she can't understand the Freedom Fighters. I mean, who are they? Never heard of them before. Are they like... Is Rotor like some weird version of Knuckles? They got the color wrong. What's with the teeth? I don't understand. The Illuminati are getting sloppy. Once she unearths them, she's going to give them a stern talking to. And everyone else just kind of smiles and nods, and she tries her best. She means well. Kind of keep her at arm's length. Keep an eye on her.
More like Illuminati.
No.
Oh. Well, whatever. Here's this one from Sonic. How can the Lightspeed shoes in Sonic Unleashed be made with the same material as rings without being absorbed into their body or hammer space?
Same reason why a house can be made out of wood but doesn't sprout roots or branches.
Or start
it's
fire.
Cultivated material.
Yes. Something like that. Because they don't want it to. That's the explanation. Because it doesn't. Because they said so. Because they can literally do anything they want. Literally. Here's this question from Alphamon or Yukin. Suppose Gunn decided to create their own Task Force X, aka Suicide Squad. Which characters would you use? No limit on which continuity you can pull from.
This sounds like a soft pitch for Bad Guys 2, to be quite honest.
Well, I mean, except
this is a fan idea.
Except this time you can pull from anything.
Yeah. And again, I'm not saying that this is a fan idea. This is perfectly in the clear. So you're fine. It's fine.
It's just fun. It's just funny. It's just fun to think about too.
Oh yeah. I mean, you bring in the hooligans and rough and tumble. Mimic to round out the team as someone who's actually dangerous. I think you could have a fun group right there.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be pretty fun. Let's see. Who else? Trying to think of other ones. I mean, there's so many freaking characters in Archie that it'd be hard to make just one.
I mean, I'm working under the pretense that, the Suicide Squad aren't like top tier villains for the most part.
Yeah.
They're all, scrubs or lower tier villains that it makes sense that they would be captured and utilized. So I wouldn't want to put someone like Infinite or Mephiles on the team because that's they're higher ranked villains. They're more of a problem.
Yeah.
Rough and Tumble, they're meant to get into trouble of all kinds, of all natures.
Sleuth doggy dog.
Oh god.
Fly Freddy.
Well, we do need bodies to hit the floor at some point.
You do need some fodder for getting murdered. Yes, you do need that. You do need that. So gotta put in those B tiers, those B tiers, those C tiers, those Z tiers, Z listers. Yeah, gotta do that. Gotta have that. Here's this question from Andrew D. Will the term team for different team names ever return, like Team Sonic, Team Dark, Team Rose, and Team Chaotix? I always found it fascinating when a new trio, or even an old trio, would have a new team name, like Team Hooligans and Team Babylon. And while I'm at it, I know Rough and Tumble are a duo, but who would you throw on their team to make it a trio, even if it was only temporary? And what would their team name be? There's something so fascinating about sticking to a hard number, in this case 3, and matching who fits which type and what the team name is.
I agree wholeheartedly, but I feel like that is a corner that you can paint yourself into real fast.
Yeah.
And I am certainly guilty of that. And, just spinning ideas off to myself. It's like, wouldn't it be cool if we did it this way? What if we did that way? It's like, maybe you're skewing a little too hard to these made up rules. Just what is natural for the story first, and what do you really need it to be? Team whatever. And it's like, yes I do. The teams I've run in, a little thing I've run into is that they seem to be treated by Sega as more of a marketing thing, and they aren't as fond of us trotting it out in like a continuity sort of way. Like Team Dark, I have been told, is not actually an official team. It's just what you call those 3 when they're together in the context of a game, which I don't like. I want to have my Team Dark. I want my Weapon X, my X Factor, if you will, in my Sonic book, but that's something else entirely. I don't know if we're going to be seeing a lot of that kind of team dynamic come up again, and if it is, I don't know if we'll stick to trios, but I don't know. You never know what Evan's got up her sleeve. There's stuff coming down the pipe. For Rough and Tumble specifically, that's the hard thing, is their entire gimmick is they are a duo. So anyone who comes in would be a third wheel.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just a question of who would be the funniest third wheel to have at any given time. And who fits into their rhyming scheme the easiest. I will admit, in Bad Guys, I cracked myself up with them trying to create a rhyme that included the entire team, and everyone just is kind of like rolling their eyes, going, why are we even with these people in this car? And Ruff is like, pearls before swine! This was inspired! Come on! I'm trying so hard. Trying so hard to be team players and good boys.
They're not bad. They just like to cause destruction and mayhem. It's fun. How about Dave from Sonic Boom? I'm on my break.
He wants to tag along to earn his evil credits for his evil degree.
Yep.
But they don't want him to because he looks lame.
Uh-huh.
And he ends up being the most evil of the three of them.
Well, yeah, of course. I like it. There we go. We've cracked the code. We've cracked the mystery. Let's see here. I mean, you got like Team Tangle, except now there's 4 on that team, kind of, because of Belle. So it's like,
yeah,
things are getting this is going to get a little crowded on that team. But you do have the glitch team now.
Yeah, that was always the intention there.
Yeah, I kind of figured. That's like a dark mirror of Team Sonic in a way.
Yeah, that's just built off of a game foundation anyway.
Right, yeah. Yep. And I think that one works pretty well. And we have a question here from Madeline Bluestar 7. And this one will take us into our break. If Knuckles does live only in the outdoors and doesn't have a designated shelter on Angel Island, then what does he usually do to get full meals besides fruit and any other food that he can get on the island? Does he travel to cook meals and to eat with his friends?
Yeah, that's good questions. Like, where does he go in a storm? How does he not die of exposure? When he's chilling out at the beginning of his story in Sonic 3 and Knuckles and he's watching little animals play, is he sizing up which Clucky looks the tastiest?
Yum, yum.
Does he know how to make a fire? Where does he cultivate it? How does he live up there? And these are all questions that have never been seriously asked or answered.
If you're wondering how he eats and breathes and other science facts, repeat to yourself, it's just a video game or a comic book or whatever. You should really just relax.
Maybe he subsists on Master Emerald energy.
What do we really want to get into that again? Last time that happened, he turned green.
Yeah,
so let's not think about it
for the complexion.
Let's not think about it too hard. No. I prefer my Knuckles to be red, not green. Green Knuckles is indicative of a problem, and you should probably go to the doctor. Anyway, maybe he just orders. It just orders online. Pulls out his communicator and just like pulls up. I don't know. Not whole eats.
The delivery fee on that would be insane.
Probably. It's okay. That's what Tails works for him. He can fly up there. But they don't use money because money. Can't use money.
All right.
So it's free. It's free. Everything's free. That's how it works. It's all done. It's all volunteer. And Knuckles is very grateful. Anyway. Are we ready? Are we ready to take a break? I'm ready for a break.
Yeah. We'll be right back with more Priority Q&A after these messages.
All right, here we go. We're jumping right back in with more Q&A. Here's one from Noni. Right, so video-based social media sites. Like, I'm not going to ask what each Sonic character would put on theirs. No. I'm going to ask what content each team is going to record and post on their accounts, i.e. Team Dark, Team Sonic, whatever the Eggman Empire or Resistance is up to. I want to know.
You mean like your YouTubes and your TikToks, that kind of thing?
That's what it sounds like, yeah. Or, Instagram stories.
Yes, the gram.
The gram.
If it's a team effort, well, it kind of boils down to who's going to actually do it. Like for Team Sonic, Tails would be the one who manages the channel, and he has to rope Sonic and Knuckles into actually making content for it. I imagine it'd be kind of like a highlight reel of the various adventures they get into. Let's see. Team Chaotix would be one part all advertisements.
Of course, yeah, I was going to say for themselves.
And one part experimental TV series that they're really just making for themselves and not realizing that they're uploading it. And that ends up getting more popular than their actual detective services, but they don't know because they don't know how to read the analytics. I can't imagine Team Dark maintaining one because Shadow and Omega would have no interest in it, and Rouge is a spy. She's not going to do something that telegraphs where she is or what she's doing. It's not like she's going to post a video for stealing something going, T evidence.
Yeah, but she's kind of vain, isn't she? You know?
Not self-destructively.
Well, yeah, that's true. That's true.
Eggman, however,
yeah.
would absolutely broadcast, here I am, en route to bomb this city. I don't think Sonic's going to make it in time, is he? Ha ha ha. The next update is, him limping back with a black eye. I don't know how he knew I was going to attack. Came out of nowhere. The jerk foiled all my plans. Wasted all this fuel for nothing. Anyway, ring the bell, like and subscribe for more. Like Sonic that is the one channel Sonic is subscribed to specifically for that nonsense.
Yep, and he has notifications on. Bing.
Yep.
Oh, here he goes.
Team Rose would be like the best put together out of all of them.
Mm-hmm.
And it'd be like a mixture of home ec and calls to action for social assistance programs. Here we are cleaning up the beach. Here we are helping out these people over here. Here's how you can put this. Here's this DIY you can do for yourself that's super easy and actual practical. Here's just some soothing AMSR stuff because like can be stressful. It's like the most wholesome and wonderful channel you can think of.
Mm-hmm. And then there's fishing.
I mean, the 3-hour one where Big is just sitting there fishing and kind of falling asleep is meditative, I guess. But
I was gonna say yes. Either that, or I don't know. I don't know which incarnation of Team Rose we're talking about here, but I would say it. The original Sonic Heroes version.
I prefer that one, yeah.
Unless we throw Blaze on there, because that happens sometimes.
Yeah, but Blaze is so cool. I don't want to lump her into a singular team. Like if Blaze is there, it's not Team Rose anymore. It's Team Blaze. I'm sorry.
That's true. Lo-fi Big the catfishing. Yes, is just a nice relaxing beat over Big fishing until something's biting, and then the horns kick in, and it gets all crazy. It's all crazy.
Suddenly, the werehog is barreling through fighting things.
Brilliant. I like it. I'm ready. Make it happen. Here's a question from Off. Spin dashing. You know that thing Sonic characters do? It seems like it's supposed to be Sonic's signature thing, but pretty much everyone can do it. If going by game logic, pretty much any character can and has spin dash. But even in the comics, many characters have been shown to be able to spin dash, including Antoine, who even spin dashed with a sword. Cream spin dashed in IDW. So my question is, how does spin dashing work? Is it a learned technique or something pretty much any Mobian Sonic character can do? Do you think we'll ever see any new variants of the spin dash in the vein of Antoine adding a freaking weapon to it?
I imagine spin dashing is a technique that is available to Mobians. I refuse to call them Sonic Worldians. I say Mobians, you know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
Canon or non-canon. It's not something that they can inherently do, but I believe it's something that they can kind of learn to do to a degree. In the same way that, some folks can learn gymnastic moves and they take to it very well, and others, myself very much included, cannot. So, like, for whatever reason, Amy traditionally cannot spin dash. I don't believe the rookie in Forces could spin dash. I could be wrong, but I don't think he could. They could, excuse me. So it's something that can be learned, but it might not be something that everyone can learn. And I don't think humans can do it at all. As for variations on it, sure, at some point, I guess. You really have to find that fine line of what makes sense within the physics and the logic of the world. Because if you've got too many obstructions, like a sword poking out, you run the risk of, does it get caught in the ground? Does it, add too much height so it's not really spin dash anymore? But you also have Cream and Tails, who have protrusions that stick out of it while the rest of their body is rotating. That makes no sense. So I think that's one of those things where it's like you got to find that sweet spot of what makes sense in cartoon logic and what makes sense in what you need for the story.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there was also doesn't Sonic spin dash in Black Knight with Caliburn? I don't remember exactly.
Yeah, I think he at least spin jumps with it.
Yeah. He gets very spinny. He rolls up to the wall and gets very spinny with Caliburn. So, you know, there's another thing there for making it real. Make it real. Make it real, Sega.
And see, that's where because I don't remember Antoine spin dashing with the sword. I do remember him spin jumping, and there is a distinction.
Mm-hmm.
But it's been so long, I could be wrong.
Did the sword spin dash?
He did?
Yes.
Okay, then Lee says I'm wrong. Off is right.
Yes. Lee knows what she's talking about.
Black Knight version?
Sorry?
Like the Black Knight version?
Yeah.
Yeah. Post reboot.
All right. I just remembered the jump. I didn't remember the dash.
Well, what difference does it make?
Well, one is a jump in the air and the other one rolls on the ground.
Oh my god.
It's a distinction.
People don't care. They called it the spin dash.
Well, it's wrong.
Holy shit.
Wait.
It's like saying it's spin, jump, and a homing attack are the same thing. They're not. They're different techniques.
Darn, I was hoping for an argument on that one, too. Oh, man. We need to get her back on the show, you know? We really need to mic her up. Just constantly. Just have her there. Just interject, whatever. We need that. Anyway. Here's this one from Scurvy Pirate Dog. Blaze the cat, Big the cat, Honey the cat. What would happen if they got some catnip? And next year, through the LEGO Ideas theme, they will release an actual LEGO Sonic set. And apparently if it sells well enough, there might be a chance we could get a full-on LEGO set theme. If that were to happen, what kind of Sonic sets would you like to see?
This is 2 questions, but whatever.
Well, he paid for 2. And
oh, okay.
Things got kind of weird, you know. I think I missed this one. Missed one of them. Okay. So things got weird, so we put in 2.
Okay. For Lego, I just want to see a tangle where you can just keep building the tail longer and longer and longer and longer and longer and longer.
Yes. That would be cool.
I mean, I'd also like to see badniks that you could put together and actually put a little animal inside so that Sonic can bop them and let them out. The sizes might make it kind of funky because the little Lego Sonic peoples are not particularly large. And so the badniks would have to be scaled up too much, but maybe I'm thinking too hard about this. I don't know. I'm all for it because then you can just, have a variety of zone packs. Even, if you don't do specific zones, then you can do, the general themes, your tropical coast, your industrial complex, your desert, etc., and mix and match and toss whatever little Lego badniks you want in there and just make it one big celebration of Sonic, this big hodgepodge of things. Or, make your authentic dioramas. Shoot, if they did like sets of each zone, you could build South Island. Ooh. Like actually build the whole thing. Like build your own Angel Island.
Nice. There we go. A scale Angel Island. Or even better. Scale Death Egg.
That would be a little ridiculous, but sure.
It would be very ridiculous, but it would also be amazing.
Especially when you drop it on your Scale Angel Island.
Yeah. It's true. The Scale Angel Island would have to be bigger than the Death Egg, though, because it is bigger than the Death Egg.
Yeah, you're going to need to empty out your garage, but, whatever. It's worth every penny.
Absolutely.
And it would be a lot of pennies.
Yes, Lego's expensive.
As for the cats, Honey would become hyper productive and just kind of all over the place. She's designed 7 things at once, and each one's kind of blending into the other, and she hasn't stopped for a solid hour.
And then she would crash hard.
Oh, yeah. Just face down somewhere, snoring. Blaze is sitting there looking at a little lick of flame in her palm and just watching it. Blaze?
Just zoning out.
You okay? Blaze? Yo, can you hear me? And she just kind of looks up and looks back to the flame, and that's about it. Big would have zero change. That's his natural state of being.
Yes. I was going to say, Big
Plus,
cat.
given the size of him, the amount of catnip he would need to register in his metabolism would be insane.
Maybe Blaze is staring at the fire, but in her brain, she's remembering the events of Sonic 06. She's like, and it's over. Then when she gets over it, she's like, man, that was weird. I don't remember that at all. Here's this question from the Hobo Joe. This time, I wanted to ask both of you if you had a moment to talk about Usagi Yojimbo. I remember Ian mentioning it here and there, interviews I think, but I know Kyle has a fondness for him. Having read about 50-plus-ish issues, its influence on Sonic is evident. Yet, as proud a legacy Stan Sakai has made for that rabbit, I rarely hear Usagi brought up unless Ninja Turtles are also involved, on YouTube especially. And that's a shame, since Usagi is truly wonderful. In fact, maybe a hot take, I think it's even better. I got started with Senso, and I've never had a book that was so serious yet incredibly goofy at the same time. What are your perspectives, memories, favorite stories? Love to hear what you have to say.
I really don't have an informed opinion on it because I haven't actually been able to sit down and read any of it just yet, like smatterings here and there. It's
right, yeah.
Something that I know of and appreciate for what it is. Weren't they making an animated series?
Mm-hmm. A Netflix series?
Like yeah. Like there was that tie-in episode with the CG turtles, which was freaking amazing.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
It's like, why do we have turtles in my Usagi Yojimbo cartoon? Get out, turtles.
Mm-hmm.
And then I thought the animated series was going to kind of follow that trend, and I don't think I've heard anything about it since. Is it still in production?
I don't know exactly what the status of it is, but I hope it is still a thing. Because, yeah, I like Usagi. I'm not really familiar with solo Usagi stories outside of the context of Ninja Turtles. I'm not too familiar with him, but I do like him, and I like that character, that sort of archetype of the wandering lone hero. I like that, and yeah, so I'm definitely interested in diving more into him. I know I have a friend who's really big into Usagi Yojimbo, who loves the character. So, I know he definitely has fans. So I'm interested, and I think a crossover with Sonic actually would be kind of interesting if that ever could ever happen.
Oh no, I'd have to read so much Usagi Yojimbo as research. The pain. The torture.
Oh no. Oh no. But
actually, how much material is out there? Oh God,
a lot.
What did I just sign up for?
Yeah, he showed up several times in the CG series, I thought, or maybe it was it only once, or I thought it was a few times.
I thought it was the one story. I could be wrong. It's been a while.
I don't remember. Okay, only once, I'm being told. But apparently he was recurring in the 2003 Turtle series, so.
Oh, okay.
He still gets some love here and there, apparently. So good. But yeah, I would love to see some solo stuff, solo cartoon. Somebody make it happen! Hurry up, Netflix. Here's this one from Zenith. In TSR, Vector's ultimate music is Team Chaotix from Heroes. If his teammates were changed back to Charmy and Espio, what would Charmio and Espio's ultimate themes be?
I would imagine it's still Team Chaotix, but depending on who you're playing as, depends on which part of the mix you hear more of. So if it's Vector, you hear him singing. And if it's Espio, you hear more of the shamisen and if it's charmy, you hear more of the drum.
I guess. I was thinking more like, let's bring back some freaking Knuckles Chaotix music. Let's give him like Door in the Summer. Need that. Door in the Summer is fantastic. I don't know, this the whole soundtrack is great, but like Walking, yes. So good. So good. I would love to hear some Knuckles Chaotix music make a comeback. So yeah, give them the Knuckles Chaotix soundtrack. Do it. And our next question is from Digama. It's kind of weird how Jewel, Tangle, and Whisper feature so heavily on multiple covers for issue 42, i.e. Basilio Tramontano's A cover and Natalie Fordrain's retailer incentive cover, even though they weren't that prominent in the issue itself. I know covers are usually done pretty early in production, so that makes me wonder. Were they originally supposed to play a bigger role in the issue, or did the artist just latch on to something that seemed to imply they were having a bigger role than they actually were?
I don't know. That's pretty much between the editors and the cover artists. I don't know if they were given a prompt or if they were given a script synopsis and that's what they gravitated towards, but no, the script itself was pretty much as you see it, as you got it. So, I don't know.
Interesting. Yeah, that might be a question more for the cover artists. Here's this one from Jams. I like to think about what happens to characters or regions that we do not see during big world-ending events in Sonic games. Westopolis got hit hard in Shadow the Hedgehog, but what do you think the newly added IDW characters, Tangle, Starline, Clutch, Rough and Tumble, etc., and the Mobian towns were up to during the Black Arms invasion? I wonder if they would have even been aware of it, and if Gunn sends out troops to help Mobian cities on the planet, or leaves them to fend for themselves.
I would imagine that the Black Arms invasion was focused on major urban centers, so your small Mobian town is not going to be really a priority, because the whole idea was that they were going to cultivate all life on the planet and eat it. And if you only have a finite number of resources and a means to distribute them, are you going to focus on a city like Westopolis, which might have a population in the millions, or Floral Forest, which has a population of maybe 200? You know, they're the appetizer you mop up with. So they might have heard of it, but I don't know if like everywhere was hit pretty hard. Of course, it begs the question just how many Black Arms were on the Black Comet and such, because it seemed kind of focused on Westopolis, but I don't know. The branching pathways in that story make it really hard to pin down just what was going on for realsies. As for Gunn, they're the guardian units of the nation, which is the United Federation, and as far as we know, that's human territories. So maybe they don't bother with smaller Mobian towns. I don't know. The layout of the geopolitical landscape in Sonic's world is not the most defined thing.
What? How could you say such a thing? There's so much Sonic media. They've had like decades to define this. Come on. They could totally do it. They won't, but they should. And we got a question here from Ava Arctic. With how big Dungeons & Dragons has been getting over the last decade, especially now during the evil virus, we've seen a lot of anime and other creators inspired by it. Have you all thought about using it as well for some story ideas, or is it too different of a genre to utilize?
It reminds me of a post on like Reddit or Tumblr or something somewhere, where someone asked, how does one go about setting up a Dungeons & Dragons campaign, but you are both the DM and all the players, and you decide everything that comes about? And they replied to themselves going, I've been informed that is called writing a book.
Yes. Yes. That is writing a book, but you roll dice on it. You roll dice occasionally to determine the outcome of something. instead of.
I have been tempted to try writing something and using that mechanic to determine how the plot goes. Don't figure it out all on my own in one go. Just see where the dice take me.
Right.
But I don't know. I'm not super into D&D myself. I know like the general trappings of it, but I can't tell you the difference between the different editions or whatnot. And I don't feel like I have enough of an understanding of it to really have it influence how I would try to write something.
Well,
and I really want to avoid one of those tropey, everyone does a tabletop game. Let's do the exact same jokes that every show has done since D&D was created.
Well, you have
tired just thinking about it.
You have written things that have Tolkien inspiration, right? At least on some level. At some thing.
But that's
basically
that's like super watered down, confuse it with general folklore and fantasy Tolkien nonsense.
D&D is very much a general watered down fantasy.
It
is the distillation of Tolkien lore and other various writers and creators fantasy style lore that has now become like the specific example of like the beginning of everything. Like Final Fantasy all spins from D&D, Dragon Quest all spins from D&D, JRPGs in general because of their influence from Ultima and Wizardry, which are also basically just video game versions of D&D. It's like it's literally has its claws in everything. It's weird, funky beholder tendrils. Do beholders have tendrils? I don't remember. Anyway, it's in everything, man. You can't escape it. It's inescapable. It is such an integral part of everything in terms of our media and pop culture that it's almost impossible. Like, even if it's a sci-fi thing, you still get a lot of D&D influence. There's even some in Star Wars, like a lot in Star Wars, actually. Just in general being based on its own sort of medieval style, fantasy style stuff. So, yes, it's everywhere, man. It's everywhere.
Well, in that case, I haven't made a concentrated effort to mine from it, but I guess I already have and didn't even know.
Yeah, a little. Yeah, I'd say you have at least a little bit in some ways. In some ways, I feel like some of the previous writers on Sonic were probably more directly influenced by it. There are certain things there that I'm like, yeah, that sounds sufficiently D&D nerdy enough. Looking at you, Robbo the Hedge. And finally, our last question for this priority episode comes to us courtesy of Pendulce. In Issue 31, Cubot mentioned that Starline smells nice. How does Starline smell? How could Cubot smell him if he's a robot?
No, Starline smells with his nose, and Cubot smells with robo sensors that act like a nose.
See, I just assumed it was a joke because Cubot couldn't actually smell anything, so he was just saying a nice compliment just because, I don't know, he was trying to butter up Starline, make him feel good about himself. I don't know what he's doing. I don't know what's going on. I don't know the motivation.
Starline is absolutely 100% about personal upkeep. I imagine some degree of vanilla, I suppose.
Maybe he smells like Irish Spring.
And Eggman would totally build a smell sensor into his robots for no other reason than he could.
Got to prove it exists. Got to prove he can do it. Got to make sure his robots are better than Tails' robots. Anyway, speaking of people who smell good, Ian, what about all the folks who helped make this show possible? You want to give a shout out to them? I'm sure they all smell great. They've got to because absolutely. They got the money to give to us.
Big thank you to Daniel H., Alex P., James K., John B., Jennifer R., Robotnik Holmes, Samuel P., Sam Cybercat, Torchbound, Mike B., Coupling Crew 128, Duas Dizdin, Diane W., Andrew D., Scruffy Matt, Chris A., Dave M., Salute Your Cat, Sony Off, John M., Noni, Don B., J. Frost, Yami M., Lee H.K., Lisa M. Chevelle, Jib, Hero of Light 13, Piggy Bank, Ryan D., Blue Title Gamer, Speedwee, Tick Tick, Final Neil, Justin S., Jonathan D., Rachel W., Ben Wolfsbane, Godzilla, Chaos Universe, Sonic Legacy, Dabbler the Dalek, Daniel B., Invade Turbo Tunis, PC the Unicorn, Fiona M., Dove, Red the Supernamic, Pandulce, Carlos, Joe S., Preston M., Fire Red XY, Chad, Jennifer H., Alpha Mono Yukin, Chico D., Renard Pixel, Les, Chase L., Spark Z, Owen BD, John the Real Waluigi, Sapphire Scarletta, Noah S., Delta Rune Jerry, Kojiro Highwind, Turbo Michi, Ava Wolf, Crooker, Kimiko, Red W., Lewis J., Callum Q., Radry, Professor Rye, Cameron H., Alex the Border Collie, Just a Mountain Soul, In Zephyr, Maddie H., Phyllis Art, aka 4 Sonic Fan, Nemric, Audrey Shrugged, Techno Cinema, Welcome Home Buddy, Scurvy Pirate Hog, and Zenith.
Welcome home, buddy! That name has some sort of weird appeal to it. Because it's just a fun phrase, I guess, maybe.
Yeah, it's comfy.
Anyway, I think that's all we got.
Yep, that'll wrap us up for today. We'll see you Wednesday for standard Q&A. Until then, be good to yourselves, be good to each other, and we'll see you then.
Could read every name. Right. Read every name like a Smash Brothers announcement. Like a Smash Brothers announcer.
Today.
Ava Arctic, the Hobo Joe, Scurvy
Luigi.
Pirate Hog.
I love the way that he reads Luigi, like he's surprised he's there.
Luigi.
Like, hey, look who made it.
Luigi. Yeah,
Right,
some of
doing,
the choices they made for the line reads are very entertaining. And break is here. This would be the break section. This will be where they put the brakes. Put the brakes on. Put the brakes on. Stop. Stop. You've been listening to the BumbleKast, a co-production of Bumble King Comics and the KNGI Network. Original theme music composed by Ken Coda Snyder. Remixed intro by T-Lopes. Find out more information, along with podcast feeder links, MP3 downloads, and more at bumbleking.com and kngi.org. All right. Apparently, Sony, aka Pandulce, is very disappointed that Starlight smells like vanilla. They hate vanilla.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, I mean, like that very nice, warm. Like, I'm not a big fan of vanilla, but I mean, like that warm shea butter, good smell vanilla.
I love vanilla. I like
a freshly done cake.
Mm-hmm. I like vanilla flavor and smells more than chocolate. I don't know. Maybe he smells. Maybe he just has that new car smell. No, that's probably what Kit and Serge smell like for now. They have the new car smell. They just came out. They just came out of the factory. I mean.